The Cossacks, 1863, by Leo Tolstoy, is a novella that reflects the author's fascination with the Caucasus and explores themes of identity, moral conflict, and the search for meaning. The story centers on Dmitry Olenin, a young, disillusioned nobleman from Moscow who joins the Russian army and travels to the Caucasus in an effort to escape the emptiness of his privileged life. Olenin hopes that by immersing himself in the simple, natural life of the Cossacks, he will find a sense of purpose and fulfillment. The novel's setting in the Caucasus, with its rugged landscapes and independent people, provides a vivid backdrop for Olenin's personal journey of self-discovery. As Olenin settles into the Cossack village, he is captivated by the way of life of the local people, particularly their connection to nature, their simplicity, and their adherence to traditional values. Among them, he meets two figures who profoundly affect his worldview. Eroshka, an old hunter who embodies the Cossack love for the land and nature, and Maryanka, a young Cossack woman whose beauty and strength intrigue Olenin. Despite being an outsider, Olenin becomes enamored with both the Cossack way of life and Maryanka herself, believing that his feelings for her represent a deeper, more authentic love than anything he experienced in Moscow. However, Olenin's attempts to integrate into Cossack life are far fraught with challenges. Although he romanticizes the Cossacks and idealizes their simplicity, he remains an outsider, unable to fully understand or belong to their world. His relationship with Maryanka is complicated by the fact that she is already promised to another man, the Cossack Lukashka, a fierce and respected warrior. Olenin's internal struggle intensifies as he realizes that his attraction to Maryanka and his desire to escape his past are not enough to overcome the fundamental cultural and social divides between him and the Cossacks. As the novella unfolds, Olenin grapples with deeper questions about his own identity, the meaning of happiness, and the role of love in his life. His romantic idealization of the Cossack life is challenged by the harsh realities of war, violence, and unrequited love. In the end, Olenin's dreams of escaping his former life and finding meaning in the Caucasus are shattered. Maryanka rejects him, choosing Lukashka instead, and Olenin is left to confront the fact that his idealism was based on illusion. Disillusioned, he returns to his former life, unsure of what the future holds. Themes and ideas in the novel. The search for meaning and identity. At the heart of the Cossacks is Olenin's quest for meaning and identity. Disillusioned with the superficiality of aristocratic life in Moscow, he seeks refuge in the Caucasus, hoping that by immersing himself in a simpler, more authentic way of life, he will find happiness and purpose. This theme reflects Tolstoy's own personal struggles with existential questions, as the author himself traveled to the Caucasus as a young man in search of clarity and meaning. Through Olenin, Tolstoy explores the universal human desire to escape the artificial constraints of society and reconnect with something more real and meaningful. However, Olenin's search is ultimately doomed to fail. His idealization of Cossack life is based on a romanticized vision that does not take into account the complexities and challenges of their world. Although Olenin longs to belong to the Cossack community, he is fundamentally an outsider, unable to fully shed his privileged background and mindset. This gap between Olenin's idealism and reality underscores one of the central themes of the novel: the difficulty of finding true meaning and belonging in a world that is often indifferent to individual desires. The conflict between nature and civilization. One of the recurring themes in the Cossacks is the tension between nature and civilization. Olenin is drawn to the untamed beauty of the Caucasus and the Cossacks' close relationship with the land. Tolstoy's vivid descriptions of the natural landscape emphasize the contrast between the wild, free life of the Cossacks and the rigid, artificial society of Moscow that Olenin has left behind. In many ways, the Cossacks represent an ideal of living in harmony with nature, free from the constraints of social convention and materialism. However, Tolstoy does not present this idealization uncritically. While Olenin romanticizes the Cossack way of life, he eventually realizes that their world is not as pure and uncorrupted as he initially believed. The Cossacks are not immune to the violence, conflicts, and hardships that characterize the human experience, and their lives are shaped by war, poverty, and social obligations. This realization forces Olenin to confront the limits of his own desire to escape civilization and live in harmony with nature. In the end, the novella suggests that the simple, natural life that Olenin seeks may be an unattainable ideal. Love and unfulfilled desire. Love plays a central role in Olenin's journey, but it is a love marked by unfulfilled desire and disillusionment. Olenin believes that his feelings for Marianka represent a pure, untainted love, one that is free from the selfishness and materialism of his previous relationships. However, his love for her is ultimately based on his own fantasies and idealizations, rather than on a true understanding of who she is. Marianka, on the other hand, does not share Olenin's romantic vision and is content with her engagement to Lukashka, a man who shares her culture and values. Olenin's unrequited love for Marianka serves as a metaphor for his broader failure to integrate into Cossack life. Just as he cannot win Marianka's love, he cannot fully belong to the Cossack world. His love, like his search for meaning, is rooted in an idealism that is out of step with reality. In the end, Marianka's rejection forces Olenin to confront the limitations of his idealism and his inability to escape his own identity. Cultural and social divides. A central theme in the Cossacks is the cultural and social divide between Olenin and the Cossacks. Although Olenin admires and romanticizes the Cossack way of life, he is constantly reminded that he is an outsider. His education, background, and status as a Russian nobleman set him apart from the people he idealizes, and his attempts to integrate into their world are met with indifference or rejection. This divide is most clearly symbolized in his relationship with Marianka, whose loyalty lies with Lukashka and the Cossack community. Tolstoy uses Olenin's struggle to belong to highlight the broader theme of alienation and the difficulty of bridging cultural divides. Olenin's desire to escape his aristocratic upbringing and embrace a more authentic life ultimately reveals the futility of trying to completely sever oneself from one's origins. No matter how much Olenin wishes to become one with the Cossacks, he remains an outsider, unable to truly understand or belong to their world. Conclusion: The Cossacks is a novella that captures Tolstoy's fascination with the Caucasus and his exploration of the themes of identity, love, and the search for meaning. Through the character of Dmitry Olenin, Tolstoy examines the human desire to escape the constraints of society and find a more authentic existence in nature. However, the novella reveals the inherent challenges of such a quest, as Olenin's romanticized vision of the Cossacks is shattered by the realities of life, love, and cultural divides. Tolstoy presents a nuanced portrayal of the Cossack way of life, highlighting both its appeal and its limitations. Olenin's longing to belong to this world is ultimately an expression of his deeper search for meaning, but his failure to integrate into the Cossack community reflects the broader human struggle to reconcile idealism with reality. In the end, the Cossacks is a meditation on the tension between nature and civilization, the complexities of love, and the difficulty of finding true fulfillment in a world that is often resistant to individual desires. Through Olenin's journey, Tolstoy suggests that the quest for meaning and happiness is fraught with challenges, and that the answers we seek may not lie in escape or idealization, but in a more profound understanding of ourselves and the world around us. The Cossacks remains a powerful exploration of the human condition, capturing the timeless tension between longing and reality and the elusive nature of happiness. Created for Squeeze That Book channel. Please subscribe to follow new videos and leave a comment with your thoughts about the book.